Manischewitz.
Here, your beer.
Whatever. L'chaim. Hold this. And, well. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
If I were a rich man, all day long I'd beedle-beedle-boo. If I were a wealthy Jew, I wouldn't have to work much. I'd leedle-leedle-leedle-leedle-leedle-loo. All day long I'd skeeble-dabble-do. If I were a wealthy Jew. Hey, hey.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Later, the crown and NBC's late night jewel. I'm very excited. NBC very pleased with my work. Today I was officially named an honorary Lawrence brother. Isn't that exciting? I'm Zeppo. Zeppo Lawrence. They're very talented. I've actually, as you probably know, I've worked for NBC a lot in the past. I've been on some shows early on in the history of the shows and sort of helped create those shows and make them big hits, and then I sort of move on. One show in particular over at NBC that I really was very instrumental in, I guess, launching and turning into the monster hit that it's become. Can we take a look at that if we have it? Do we have a clip from that?
See, I might have had feelings for her at one time, not anymore. Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Get it? I was the monkey in Friends. I'm a loser. I have a fabulous guest tonight. He's a talented director who won rave reviews for his low-budget, high-action debut film, El Mariachi. He has since gone on to make Desperado and the recent hit From Dusk Till Dawn. Please welcome the extremely talented Robert Rodriguez. Robert! Nice to see you.
Snazzy filmmaking there.
Oh, thank you very much. We did that on a very low budget. Your story, just to get everybody familiar with it, is an incredible one.
It's pretty wacky.
It's extremely wacky.
You know what? I'm glad I kept a diary about it because, you know, as it goes on, you forget how wacky it is until you look back at your life and realize,
right,
wow, I was a human lab rat, you know. Things like that.
For people who don't know, this is what you're describing is you actually went into scientific studies to make money for films. You did that, what, 4 times?
Several times, yeah. Once to, you know, finance a video camera, once to finance my short film.
Right.
It was a good luck thing, though. Every time I did one, the film would go on to win some awards, so I felt, you know, keep the tradition alive.
Did you do that with Desperado?
Desperado, I didn't, but I will go back again because I'm thinking of doing a TV show about the place. So I'll have to go do some research, so I'll check back in.
At the lab. What were do you remember what the studies were? Because you went in there.
Yeah.
You were in there for about a month at one time, right?
Yeah, I have daily reminders. I have scars still from a lot of them. One of them was a drug that was a speed healer drug.
Right.
You know, how do you test a drug like that? You know?
You cut people.
They wound you, yeah. So they would cut holes out of your arms and put the speed healer on one and the placebo on the other and then do tests on you. And they paid you about $100 a day, which for a college kid, you know, it's a lot of dough. You know, I made $3,000 in 1 month for mariachi.
Are there lifers in there, or are there guys that just like, hey, welcome back, Robert. Nice to see you.
No one wants to think of themselves as a lifer, but there are a lot of guys that you know next month they'll be right back in there because it's easy, it's good money, it's easy money.
And you can't leave. You have to stay. I mean, the amazing thing to me was you had to live like a Mormon. There were no coffee, no cigarettes, no anything to follow the study.
In fact, one time I had one of those heart monitors on. They have all these heart monitors on to make sure your heartbeat can't go up a certain rate. So we're all in the television recreation room watching, and then, you know, some dirty movie would come on, and we all had to leave. because our heartbeats would go up too much. And
Wow. You guys had cable?
They had cable, they had VCRs, they had pool, they had, foosball, they had all kinds of recreational stuff, yeah.
Did they, really treat you, like now that you're gone there, do you still, like, feel a bit like elaborate? Do you still check yourself in that same manner? Do you still, because, you had to literally, like, go to the bathroom in a cup?
Oh, yeah, they make you do all kinds of, describe your stool and everything. Do you work for the money? You work for
what kind of adjectives can you use with that? It was a happy stool.
It was
gregarious.
It hurt, yeah, anything. They gave you weird drugs. It was really a terrible place.
Now you had a plan, though. The remarkable thing to me was at 22, 23 years old, that your plan was completely laid out. In reading your book, you knew I was going to take this amount of money. Your plan was to make 3 El Mariachi movies.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you want to get somewhere, you really got to set some goals for yourself. They won't ever happen the way you plan, but at least you'll
don't
set.
I know that?
You'll set forward on a positive, in a positive direction that may take you someplace better by accident.
Right.
But yeah, I had been making a lot of short films just for fun. I was in Texas, very negative. I didn't think I'd get anywhere.
Right.
I didn't know anyone in the business. I was Latin. I was from Texas. I thought I'll never get anywhere. But my short films started winning festivals. So I thought, I'm 23. I'm getting some recognition.
And then short films you had done on video. They were not
just on video, yeah,
right.
or on 16 millimeter that I cut on video and would send VHS copies out and get awards for them. So I thought, this is something I might be able to do. Let me get some practice telling some feature stories.
Right.
So I came up with this great scam. I thought, man, a lot of friends of mine like foreign films. I want to be a foreign film director. I'll go make movies in Mexico for the Spanish home video market. That's why mariachi's in Spanish. I'm
because you thought you could sell just that, and then that would finance your next mariachi segment.
Finance a couple more, get 3 features under my belt within a year, and really learn everything. That's why I didn't take a crew with me, so I could learn the lighting, the sound, the camera work, the editing. And it would be, a great film school. It would be one where you learn everything.
What's amazing to me about it, though, is at that time, at that age, most of your friends were probably still, pissing off balconies. You know what I mean? Well, like, you had the remarkable maturity, which I think is unusual. Weren't your friends, like, you'd go off to do movies, and they'd be like, what time are the Flintstones on?
I actually had an experience like that. I was actually, cutting my trailer to my movie. I was really excited. I just shot it. I was cutting a trailer, an ad for it, to get attention. And I got a call from one of my friends, and they were like, hey, we're having a party right next door. And I said, no, I'm going to finish this. Because I was really on a mission to do something. I came from a very big family. It was 10 kids.
Right.
And there wasn't a lot of money. And there was a time when, you get to a certain age, like 15 or 16, when most of your friends, are just having a good time. You realize, man, I'm going to have to make some dough, not just for me, but for my other siblings. So
the thing, too, about it is I think you are going to make an excellent rich guy. And I say this because in reading the book, they were talking about how you got per diem on a project you did in Los Angeles, and your comment was, I'm just going to go stay at a cruddy hotel, because with that money, I can put my brother through school.
Isn't that amazing? It's amazing how they spend money on here.
Right,
but
it's amazing.
But if you're from money, you don't realize what you have. That's why I still dress like this. But
at least your jacket stays down. Mine has real trouble.
But I'm just from.
Settle down.
I was just from such, the kind of means where as soon as you got money, you didn't think it was going to keep coming. I really, when things first started happening, whenever a company would put me in a hotel, I would steal the towels, I would take the robes, I'd say, this is probably isn't going to last very long, I couldn't make it count. So anytime I got any money, I would put it away or save it, and I'd spend anything. I'm still like that.
Right, and work with
that
the
survival.
Does it seem like silly money now that they talk about, the deals that you sign? Are you still doing Zorro?
Yeah, I'm doing Zorro right now.
And when they throw the figures around, which is only 3 or 4 years since
it becomes so detached, you can't even imagine. It just becomes like...
I can't.
They're like zeros, and they don't feel real because I know I'm not going to spend it. I'm going to put it away just in case.
Right.
But so it becomes statements on a piece of paper.
Do you still? So it has in no way polluted the kind of work you want to do. You don't think to yourself, I'll sign on to that because I know I'll make a quick buck on that. It's always going to be about.
What you find is that if you really got into it because you love the work to begin with, that the best part that you'll see soon. Making the deal. Making the deal is the best thing. You see, look how much money I'm going to make. But I tell you, once you start working on the project, you almost say, take the money. Just quit screwing with me. Let me just finish the work.
I don't think I'd ever say that.
Because your daily existence is about the work.
Yeah, well, that's
it really
the thing.
does become that.
I've always had the mindset of that. If you're doing nice work and work that you're proud of, the rest will out. That you don't. The rest will take care of itself. And if you can keep yourself with a certain amount of integrity in your work.
Several times I've told them just to take the money back. I'm just going to do it myself. And they don't want to do that because then you have to get a name as a producer.
Is that a way for you to take control away? To not accept as much money, but to retain a certain amount of control? Is that the method that you would use?
It's a really wacky business. It's really ironic how everything works. You can go to a company like Miramax, for instance, do any kind of movie you want for less money, which is what I like to do anyway, because I'll just try and make it look bigger. That's what I've been kind of doing, is by operating your own camera and doing your own editing, and you really save a lot of money, but it doesn't look like it on the screen.
Well, even Desperado looked like one of those high action, you know, $20, $30 million movies, and it was made
It was
for what?
strange. It was $7 million.
$7 million.
Yeah, and it came out during the summer, and all the other summer action movies started at $50 million and went up.
Right.
So, you know, if you can put out a movie that they'll still sell like a big movie, they give you so much more creative freedom that I don't even have to fight with them over anything. They'll let me just do, you know, whatever I want. That's why you see all those Latin faces on the screen. They never make movies like that. I wanted to do that, so that's why I did it for less.
And by doing that, you've been able to sort of keep up exactly the kind of work you do and just bring it to a larger scale.
Well, what's really cool is that I can make a movie that doesn't have to appeal to everybody, because the movie
Right.
doesn't have to make so much money back that you have to make it kind of middle of the road. You know, talk to your friends and say, "Oh, how's the new Batman movie?" And they'll go, "Yeah, it was okay," you know,
Right.
because that's what they work at. They make movies that no one really loves or hates, but everyone just kind of
But
likes.
everybody goes to
so
say.
to get them all in, because they have to make so much money back. Or I can make a movie that doesn't really appeal to everybody, but people who really like it, you know, really like it. Other
Right.
people might just say, "Oh,
And you
it's not
develop
for
loyal
me."
fans who continue to see your work, which is very nice.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. It's nice.
We have to take a commercial break because we have to pay for this show. So we'll be right back with Robert Rodriguez right after this. All right, that's Dusk Till Dawn, which you take big chances. You get George Clooney, you put him in a homicidal role,
Yeah. I mean,
and
you
it opens as the #1 movie in the country.
You figure, you know, I told George, and that no one was really offering him movie roles at the time I hired him for this.
Right.
So, you know, you can't go wrong in a movie like this. Just blame me if it doesn't work, you know. You're doing something so different from television
Right.
that it'll get a younger crowd, it'll get a different audience, and now he's Batman, you know. It's amazing. So he took a big gamble in doing the movie, but it paid off really big.
Is he throwing you some green on the Batman thing?
No,
for
I
launching
tell
it?
him, you know, you took the risk yourself. I mean, it could have easily ended up with somebody else's career, you know.
Think he'd throw me some green on the
Probably.
Batman thing?
I mean, it's just flying around now. I mean,
It's up to him. He can make his own decisions. Quentin, you and Quentin are on the set together. You've worked together a lot. Now, as a director, is it hard for him to just become an actor, to just with you back behind the camera, or does he walk up to you and go, "I think you should move the camera over here"?
no, he really didn't want to direct this movie. It was the only script that he wrote that he never intended to direct. All the other ones he wrote, he really shot in his head already, and this was one that he had been hired to write.
Right.
And so he never really wanted to direct it. He wanted me to direct it, and he wanted to work in it as an actor, and he wanted to be directed.
Right.
So he was there just as an actor. So it was really fun.
The unusual thing, it seems to me, is that you went right from El Mariachi to, what, Desperado, then right to Dusk Till Dawn. You almost didn't take a break.
I did a little movie in between that called Road Racers for Showtime, which Miramax might release theatrically later on.
I have the
That was
HBO.
a
I
fun,
can't get the
fun
Showtime.
movie. Yeah, I
It's
didn't
like
have
$30
I
to
don't
get
think
both.
I don't think anyone had Showtime. I've never
Yeah.
kind of given the station away for free to everybody.
It's better, though. I mean, because then, like you say, it gives you a chance. That was your second movie, right? Gives you a
Yeah.
chance to keep working things out and,
Yeah.
and do those things.
But yeah, they're all kind of back to back. You know, when you're working on a movie, it's really a tremendous amount of work. But when you're finished with it, you forget. You're stupid. You know, you forget what you went through, and you're ready to do another one. And I'm always signing up for something right after the other.
Right.
And it starts really piling up.
Do you think, are you in fear at all of any kind of burnout? Are you in fear that one day you wake up and go, I have to go lie down?
Maybe that'll happen, you know, but usually you find that when you're in a creative spurt like that, I mean, you're really making a movie, that's when you're at your most creative, that's when you're at your peak, and you
Right.
actually start coming up with all these other ideas.
Do you have
start coming
insomnia?
to
I
you.
would think you'd have insomnia.
I don't sleep a lot, but then again, I sleep odd hours. I work during the night, usually.
How much sleep do you need?
So
you
I don't
think?
really get to see this show because it's on too early.
This show, I don't get to see it either. I've been here a week. I don't really watch this thing. Hey, you do? No, I'm kidding. I watch this all the time. It's terrific.
Sometimes I really can't sleep. Sometimes I just work. Sometimes it's just work.
Right. Because when you talk to very creative people, they're oftentimes really late at night, and you've taken your insomnia, or you're staying awake, and made it creative, and I play Sega hockey till like 4
There
in
you
the
go.
morning.
That's really productive of you.
Yeah, not
there,
real
John.
helpful in the business. I think it's time I start reading.
Put
or
that
doing
stuff
something.
away. The idea is to make games like that so you can hook other people up.
Exactly. Well,
Profit off.
that's the amazing thing too, is you don't only direct these things, you also draw cartoons, and you
Well, actually, I started off as a cartoonist. I was actually foolish enough to think that I should either be a cartoonist or a filmmaker.
Right.
If I had stuck with the cartoons, I would have maybe gotten syndicated, which means everything I did, which was probably R-rated at the time, would have had to become G-rated, and I would have been miserable, you know. So I'm glad that the movies panned
Did you ever
out.
think about doing an animated feature?
Yeah,
working?
actually a lot. So I might be doing something like that because I really like animation. But
Have you been able to draw your family now into all the work? You know, I know you're married and you've got a kid. Have you
Yeah,
guys been able
but
to work
it's really
together?
difficult. I mean, we work on the movies together, actually. My wife produces them, and my kid, who was just born,
Right.
he was actually the monster
So he's not
sound
pulling
effects.
his weight yet.
He was
He's
the
just
monster
hanging
sound
there.
effects in the movie. I mean, that big rat, he was crying so much that I taped his voice crying, and I distorted it.
And you made him the monster sound effects?
Yeah, he's one of the big rats in the movie. That's his. I wanted him to have a strong work ethic too. You know.
I think that's
wanted him-
important.
Yeah, he should know that he made his first paycheck before his feet hit the ground.
You paid him?
Yeah, his name's in the credits at the end.
Is he union now?
No, we don't.
Pretty
do
soon
that.
he's going to be like, I don't get up out of bed for less than $5,000.
I'm going to teach him how to be like that. You know, I figured I'm going to I don't want to push him into the creative arts, but it can be, you know, a very, really good business.
Your ability to look into the future is kind of what amazes me. The fact that you're not a reactive guy. You're really planning this whole thing out and working it through.
I actually do the movies the same way. It's just so that you have a backup plan, one that's been really thought out, because when you're in the moment, you're living the moment.
Right.
But I really like to plan ahead of time, in case I'm not inspired on the day, in case I have no ideas, I've already have something laid down that'll work and get me through it. And that's helped a lot, to really plan ahead and really just set goals. Otherwise,
it's great. If I had planned ahead, I would have known we were supposed to hit a commercial 2 minutes ago. I'm sorry about that. I saw the sign all of a sudden. We're going to take another commercial. We'll be back with Robert Rodriguez right after this.
East will become the first Mexican-American female president of the United States.
That's Bedhead. Now, Bedhead was a film that you had done. That was a film you did to get into film school.
Yeah, that was my first 16mm movie that I had done. And I had shot it on 16 with a little wind-up World War II camera, wind-up camera.
Right.
And edited on home video with my little siblings in the backyard. And that thing cost $800 because I didn't go to making a film print afterwards, which is the big expense. I cut on video and would send the videotape around to film festivals. And at that time, they were accepting videos as entries and awarding it film awards. So it was very bizarre. That's what gave me the idea to do my.
So you were winning film awards before
tape.
you ever got into film school?
Yeah. So that was kind of neat. Because I couldn't get into film school because my grades weren't high enough, actually.
So then you showed them that film and they went, well, we were just kidding. Come on in.
Yeah, come on in. Because, well, the problem usually is, you know, it's all numbers. You know, you can't get into a class because the classes are so small, so they go by GPA, and usually creative types don't have very high GPA because they're bad at all the maths and sciences. I mean, that's the way it was for me. So it worked out better that I didn't go to film school, because then I learned how to make movies like that without a film
being
career.
very resourceful.
Being more resourceful than they teach you.
Well, there was a scene in El Mariachi, there was a big action sequence that you didn't film because the guy whose camera you were borrowing went, I need
we
that
needed
back.
it back, yeah, and then it was borrowed and we had to get it back to him. So we ended up cutting the movie differently and taking the scene out. It ended up working fine. So you can actually if you refuse to spend money, you can actually get very far.
Right. Now, who are the guys that you look to as sort of influences? Is guys like John Woo, guys like
those guys got me interested in
Leone?
doing action again, because I really thought action movies had gotten stale after a while. But then I'd see some of these Hong Kong movies, and they were so much more inventive than we were here doing formula all the time, that they really got me excited about movement and energy.
Do you do a lot of the choreographing of it yourself?
That's the most fun part, yeah.
Right.
I found out later that when you come to Hollywood, the first thing you do is you don't get to do that stuff. You hand it off to a second unit director and the stunt guys, and they go and shoot it. Oh, man, that's the best part. So I'd have to shoot faster in order to be able to do that stuff myself.
But you stunt guys, you're not doing the Jackie Chan thing where you're just dropping people off buildings. You know,
actually, we just drop people off buildings.
Do you really?
Yeah, sure.
May I work
they love
for you?
it. No, man, you can just get anybody and train them how to jump into a pit. The big effect, the big jumps and stuff, we'd have a couple of stunt guys. In fact, in Desperado, the same two stunt guys over and over. You know, every day Antonio would go, man, didn't I kill you already? You know, the same guy.
You work with a lot of the same people. Now, they must like working with you. Antonio Banderas, you work with, Salma Hayek, you work with very frequently.
Yeah.
Do they just respond to your style directing? Why is it that you sort of keep the same crew and cast around?
I've been making these movies that have a strong Latin influence, and there aren't a lot of Latin stars to point to. That's one reason I wanted to make these movies, was to start building them up so that you would be able to mention someone like Salma Hayek. I mean, she's the first Mexican actress since Dolores Del Rio to be in a Hollywood film. I mean, that's how long it's been.
Right.
You know, it's a long time.
How long has that been?
It's about 50 years, 60 years.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, you're talking having to create a new form of telling stories and people on screen so people would identify with. So that's why you see the same people, is because I'm trying to. So when I go to do a Zorro, for instance, they say, oh, let's get that hot star Salma Hayek, who didn't exist until you give her a chance in a movie like that.
You know, man, you're on your way to the Thalberg Award. You're going to be the Irving Thalberg guy. I can see this already. 50 years from now, you'll be walking out and they'll be out cheering and stuff, and
I don't know
Salma will
that.
come and present.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Antonio will dive across the thing. We got to take another commercial break. We'll be right back.
This season.
All right, yeah, we're back here with Robert Rodriguez. One final question before we go. Waterworld, how much would it cost you to make it?
Well, I'd probably do it in my swimming pool, I'd ask for maybe $50 million and, spend $10,000 and keep the rest.
I think that's
give it to my friends.
That's a pretty solid idea. It's very nice to meet you.
Hey, nice
Robert
to meet you.
Rodriguez, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for tuning in to later. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks a lot, man.
Sunrise, sunset. Gently through the years. Is this the little boy?